What's the most unforgivable thing a teacher ever did? My brother Paul was born with severe dyslexia, and in 4th grade, he got Ms. Wheeler as his teacher. She made his life absolute hell. From day one, she decided he was just lazy and stupid. I was 16 and in high school at the time, but I still remember the first parent-teacher conference. Ms. Wheeler pulled out Paul's assignments, covered in red marks, and said he was choosing to be difficult. My mom tried explaining his dyslexia, showing his diagnosis papers and accommodation requirements. Ms. Wheeler just smiled that patronizing smile and said, "In my 25 years of teaching, I've never had a student who couldn't learn to read with proper motivation." That proper motivation turned out to be public humiliation. She'd make Paul stand up and read aloud, watching him struggle with each word while other kids snickered. When he got stuck, she'd sigh loudly and say things like, "We're all waiting, Paul," or "Maybe if you paid attention instead of daydreaming." One day, Paul came home crying because she'd made him miss recess to write, "I will not be lazy," 100 times. His handwriting was messy because of his dyslexia, so she made him rewrite it twice. My mom went to the principal, but he backed Ms. Wheeler, saying she was their most experienced teacher. Things got worse. Ms. Wheeler started putting Paul's failed assignments on display as examples of poor effort. She'd read his test scores out loud to the class. Once she even told him, "At this rate, you'll be lucky to work at McDonald's." Paul started having stomach aches every morning, begging not to go to school. His confidence was completely shattered. My straight-A sister started sneaking into his classroom during her lunch break to help him, but Ms. Wheeler caught her and gave her detention. The breaking point came during their class play. Paul had practiced his 3 lines for weeks with our mom, but the day before the performance, Ms. Wheeler gave his part to another kid, saying she couldn't risk him embarrassing everyone. That night, I found Paul in his room, ripping up his script and sobbing. He looked at me and said, "Maybe I really am stupid." Something in me snapped. I grabbed my phone and texted every kid I knew who'd had Ms. Wheeler, asking if she'd ever bullied them too. Within an hour, I had 27 responses. Stories about her mocking kids' weight, their clothes, their accents. One girl said Ms. Wheeler had called her trailer trash in front of the class. I made a group chat and told everyone to ask their parents for proof. Emails, conference notes, anything. Then I set up a meeting with the school board, not the principal. The day of the meeting, 15 families showed up with documentation. We had recordings of Ms. Wheeler's comments, emails she'd sent mocking students, and even a video of her screaming at a kid with autism for not looking at me when I'm talking. The school board was horrified. Turns out, the principal had been burying complaints about Ms. Wheeler for years because they were friends from college. Both of them were fired the next week. The new principal was a former special education teacher. She got Paul into proper reading programs and gave him a tablet with dyslexia-friendly software. His grades started improving immediately. 3 months later, Ms. Wheeler tried applying at another school in our district. They called me for a reference since I'd started a tutoring program for kids with learning disabilities. I sent them the entire file of evidence we'd collected. Last I heard, she was working as a grocery store cashier. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The day Paul graduated high school with honors, he sent her a card that said, "Guess McDonald's will have to wait."